WESH 2 News starts now with breaking news.
An intruder armed with an axe. An off-duty Orange County deputy opens fire defending her own home and her children.
Plus, investigators say she left her boyfriend to die in a suitcase. Tonight, this Winter Park woman is behind bars.
And suspects on the run after a shootout on the streets of Titusville. At least one victim is an innocent bystander. We begin tonight in Orange County, where the sheriff says a man is in the hospital with a gunshot wound after trying to break into an off-duty deputy's home with an axe.
Yeah, that deputy is a mother, and her children were inside when all of this happened. WESH 2's Chris Guadaro is live in the neighborhood on Yvonne Street in Apopka. Chris, is everyone in the home okay?
Thankfully, yes, but this definitely scared a lot of people in this neighborhood. Check out what we're looking at right now. The Orange County Sheriff's Office is blocking off a lot of Yvonne Street here, and they seem to be focusing their investigation into this shooting on a house on the corner here. Now, a neighbor tells us that this same burglary suspect broke into their home, but ran away, jumped over their fence while trying to escape. The sheriff says that this same burglar may have broken into multiple homes in this neighborhood. An off-duty sheriff's deputy fights off a man with an axe in her home Tuesday evening.
He literally took an axe and broke through the back door.
Just after 5:30, the Orange County Sheriff says his deputies were called out to the Rolling Oaks subdivision of Apopka after getting multiple calls about a string of burglaries. The burglar in his 30s allegedly broke into neighbors' houses and tried to get into a few other houses before reaching the off-duty deputy's home on Yvonne Street.
Our deputy was home with her children. She was in fear for her life and the lives of her children. They shot the suspect multiple times.
Sheriff Mina says the man has a few gunshot wounds to the lower half of his body. The injured man wrestled with the deputy in her house until she was able to handcuff him. When deputies arrived, they used tourniquets on the suspect to stop the bleeding. The deputy is a 2-year veteran with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. This is the first time she's used her issued firearm.
Here's a deputy who's been trained to react to something like this, an armed suspect, but we don't expect that in our own home.
That suspect is expected to recover. The sheriff's office is not releasing the identity of that alleged burglar or the deputy involved in this shooting tonight. We're live in Orange County. Chris Guadaro, WESH 2 News.
Also breaking tonight, 2 people are dead after an apparent murder-suicide in South Orange County. Deputies were called to the Garden Cove subdivision on Purple Lilac Circle around 9:20 tonight. They tell us their preliminary investigation shows the man may have shot and killed a woman before turning the gun on himself. They say they don't believe that there is any threat to the community.
Some more breaking news to report tonight. A bizarre homicide investigation is unfolding right now in Winter Park. Deputies say a man was found dead inside a suitcase. That investigation is happening at an apartment on France Lane, right near Aloma and Palmetto Avenues. WESH 2's Gail Pascal Brown is live at the Orange County Sheriff's Office tonight. So, Gail, someone is already in custody for this.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is an Orange County case, and Sarah Boone of Orange County has been charged with second-degree murder in connection with the death of her boyfriend, Jorge Torres Jr. Now, investigators say that Boone called from a France Lane Winter Park apartment saying that Torres was dead. The arrest report says that they were playing a game of hide and seek. Now, the report goes on to say the couple jokingly thought it would be funny if he got into the suitcase located in the living room. Sarah Boone allegedly zipped him up in the suitcase. Detectives say she told them that they were both had been consuming alcohol during the night, and then she went upstairs and passed out in her bed. The detectives say she woke up hours later to her cell phone ringing multiple times, and she didn't see her boyfriend in the apartment. The arrest report says she then realized that he was possibly still in the suitcase. Sarah apparently unzipped the suitcase and found him unresponsive and not breathing. Now, investigators say that her boyfriend was found dead, lying near a blue suitcase. A sworn statement taken from Sarah Boone was taken, but it was blacked out in the arrest report. The arrest report does say that 2 videos were downloaded from her cell phone, and detectives say in one of the videos, her boyfriend was yelling her name, saying, "I can't breathe. Seriously." Sarah apparently replied, "Yeah, that's what you do when you choke me." Now, Sarah Boone is in the Orange County Sheriff's Office, in the Orange County Jail under no bond. I'm Gail Pascal Brown reporting live at Sheriff's Headquarters for WESH 2 News.
And now to breaking news out of Titusville, where a road rage led to a barrage of bullets. Tonight, 2 people are in the hospital. West 2's Sonika Dangai is standing by with the latest.
And Jim, we are told one of those victims was actually an innocent person who had nothing to do with this. Behind me, you can see the large police presence here, but there are actually 3 separate crime scenes. It was around 5:30 when police say they started getting numerous reports about gunshots at or around all of the locations you see in the map on your screen. Investigators say there was some sort of altercation between 2 drivers, with shots being fired from at least one of those cars. Now, this is video from the area of DeLeon Avenue. Police say the cars involved in this were heading south when someone in a car heading north was hit by a bullet. It's believed that person was just an innocent bystander. The second person who was shot showed up at a nearby hospital. Police say it's unclear if they were also in the wrong place at the wrong time or somehow involved in this. What they do know is that they're still looking for suspects.
It's very young into the investigation at this point. We are pretty confident that we have somewhat of a handle on the general story of what took place and who may be involved, but we still need that extra information.
At one of the crime scenes, our photographer spotted investigators surrounding a white car. Titusville police say that car is part of the investigation, but weren't able to say whether it was involved in the shootings. As for the 2 people who were shot, police haven't been able to say how serious their injuries may be. Back to you, Jim, Summer.
All right, Sonika, thank you. Breaking out of Orange County, the state fire marshal is heading to the scene of a massive fire in the Stonewood Estates off of Dean Road. As you can see here, there is extensive damage to this home. Fortunately, we're told everyone inside escaped and no one was injured.
We are monitoring all of the breaking stories tonight. West News Sunrise will have the overnight developments. We're also posting new information on WESH.com.
Meanwhile, developing tonight, Titusville police are searching for a missing 36-year-old woman who could be in danger. Police tell us Anna Primavera's family reported her missing on Sunday. She was last seen Friday near her Trinidad Avenue house. Police tell us a search of her room turned up evidence that she may have been harmed, and another woman staying at the home is not cooperating.
Satellite Beach police have cited the driver involved in a crash that left a 12-year-old girl dead. We are not showing the moments of the crash, but police say this surveillance video helped complete their investigation into the death of Sophia Nelson. She was hit while crossing A1A near Elwood back in December. Police cited an 83-year-old for failing to stop at the crosswalk, but they won't face criminal charges because there's no evidence of reckless driving.
It's taken 3 years, but tonight the Orange County School Board voted to restart the process to rename Stonewall Jackson Middle School. Students will get first choice by writing essays on who they want the school named after. Speakers tonight suggested Roberto Clemente Middle School after the baseball legend and philanthropist. The school board's recommendation says Jackson Middle shouldn't be an option, that the name includes Hispanic leaders to reflect the student population. The school board hopes to have a new name by May.
Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger is stepping down. He'll remain with the company as an executive chairman through the end of his contract, December 31st, 2021. Iger told CNBC today that the timing was right following Disney's acquisition of Fox's entertainment assets and the launch of Disney Plus. His successor is Bob Chapek, who was recently chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences and Products. Chapek is only the 7th CEO in Disney history.
New tonight, dozens of people hit the streets near International Drive to protest for a higher minimum wage. Workers gathered right outside of the McDonald's on Sand Lake Road, showing their support to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Local advocates also want a union for fast food workers. They say new raises do not make ends meet.
Some hours they can't even afford things to live. There's not enough money, even students that's in college, they can't support themselves off of $8.50 an hour.
A proposal is on Florida's ballot in November to gradually raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Tonight, 7 Democratic presidential candidates faced off in a debate on CBS. And with some campaigns on the line and a firm frontrunner established, things took a testy tone. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Charleston, South Carolina.
As the clear frontrunner, Bernie Sanders stood center stage tonight, but from the start, his rivals attacked him for leaning too far to the left.
Anybody in this room imagine moderate Republicans going over and voting for him?
The last 50 polls that have been done nationally, Mr. Bloomberg, I beat Trump 47 of those 50 times.
The candidates accusing Sanders of proposing plans he can't pay for, like Medicare for all.
So let's do some math. Senator Sanders at one point said it was going to be 40 trillion, then it was 30, then it was 17. It's an incredible shrinking price tag.
What every study out there, conservative or progressive, says Medicare for all will save money.
Also sparring over gun control.
Bernie voted 5 times against the Brady bill.
I'm the only one up here with the receipts that has actually repeatedly, while being for the assault weapon ban, won in Republican congressional districts over and over again.
Though Sanders faced the most attacks,
but I think I would make a better president than Bernie.
The stakes may be highest for Joe Biden.
I will win South Carolina.
Who's positioned himself as the strongest with voters of color.
My entire career has been wrapped up in dealing with civil rights and civil liberties.
Race, a central theme tonight ahead of the First in the South primary.
And I know that if I were black, my success would have been a lot harder to achieve.
We should have a formal commission on race to retell the story of the last 400+ years in America of African Americans.
Sparks flying tonight as each candidate fights for a path forward, though they're united on one point, denying President Trump a second term. Alice Barr, NBC News, Washington.
How many of your parents bought you a home right out of high school?
Wow, if you could be so lucky. It's actually not too uncommon, though, here in Central Florida. That's because on-campus housing is a hot commodity for UCF students, meaning many are forced to look elsewhere.
You can't choose your neighbors, but many we spoke with certainly weren't expecting teens moving in next door. So can anything be done to prevent rowdy neighbors venturing away from home for the first time? We take a closer look at the issue next. Tony.
Jim, right now we're tracking showers, but tomorrow afternoon with a little bit of sunshine and heating, we'll be tracking thunderstorms. Some of those could become strong. We'll time those out hour by hour, and then we've got another cold blast headed our way. Those two stories straight ahead. You're watching Watch 2 News at 11.
College students mixing with families. That is the situation in many neighborhoods in the area of UCF.
Students are ditching the dorms and apartments for single-family homes.
What we have is like every 3 houses you're going to see a student from the university.
Watch 2's Bob Hazen found a lot of times parents are actually buying houses for their children to live in, then selling them to other parents after graduation.
Jersey. Oh, okay. Yeah.
These UCF students can shoot hoops in front of their place. It's one luxury of many they could not enjoy in dorms.
Freedom. I like having my own room. I like having a living room and a kitchen that I can just walk into. We didn't really have that on campus.
Griffin Kindred and his friends live in a house his parents bought in the Brittany Place neighborhood a few miles from campus. They're part of a trend that continues to grow as UCF grows. Students living in single-family homes and neighborhoods surrounding the college.
Closer to UCF, the hotter the market is.
Mike Wiemert with Wiemert Realty Group says most of his clients see the university as a benefit.
Now, people don't want to live next to a frat house or live next to a bunch of college students necessarily, but usually you see in those neighborhoods that they're kind of isolated more.
Part of the reason for why UCF students are filling up homes in these neighborhoods is that on-campus housing is extremely tight.
We had actually problems trying to find housing.
UCF says it has on-campus housing for about 7,900 students, including the new downtown campus. There's room for another 4,200 in university-affiliated apartments off campus. But the undergrad population alone is almost 60,000. That means almost 80% of students have to live off campus. Sometimes that can lead to problems. The most common is parking. Multiple cars per house spilling out of driveways onto yards or streets.
What we have is like every 3 houses you're going to see a student from the university.
Louis Saltos lives in the Regency Park neighborhood. He and his son say the majority of the time the young folks renting here are fine, but college kids will be college kids.
Especially at nighttime when they have their parties, or let's say, you know, they have arguments and so forth, and then you have children and they're awake and there's profanity.
You know, sometimes you wake up in the morning, there's still bottles and solo cups on the ground.
In Ashington Park, a few streets seem to be almost entirely student housing.
Sometimes the parties get a little bit out of hand in parking, but besides that, it's a really nice place to live, and there's, you know, it's a safe place to go for a run outside.
Wiemert says one reason these neighborhoods remain stable is that many of the owners actually bought the houses for their own kids to live in, like Kindred's case, along with a friend or two who pay rent.
So those people are buying it, holding it for 4 years, and selling it. So as long as we can keep the prices reasonable, you have another family coming in and doing the same thing.
He also says homeowners associations play a major role. The most active ones ban multiple unrelated people from living together. Others keep close watch on student housing.
If they try to put 6 or 8 people in a 3-bedroom, all of a sudden they have 6 or 8 cars sitting there and they're parking on both sides of the streets, and the neighbors get upset and start making phone calls, and the HOA will enforce that.
When there are problems, UCF says it has a neighborhood relations team that works with HOAs, including a website where people can lodge complaints. Wiemert says his team also tries to let buyers know what they're getting into.
As we try to educate our buyers before they move in, so we know why they're buying the property. The people who really get in trouble are the ones that go out there without a realtor and don't do the homework.
Kindred says where he lives, it all seems to work out.
It seems about half and half, college students and just families living here, which is kind of weird. It feels like I'm starting to become an adult.
Bob Hazen, WESH 2 News.
UCF does keep track of complaints raised by neighborhood groups. The university says 10 communities contacted the school in the first half of 2019. That includes concerns received from the Regency Park neighborhood and University Estates.
Let's go and talk about the weather right now. We know the changes are coming. When exactly are they going to hit?
The cold weather arrives very early Thursday morning. It's the storms that arrive tomorrow afternoon for the heart of the evening commute that we're going to have to watch. So we've got a lot of ground to cover. Let's begin with the live look outside right now over towards Epcot. 69, cloudy. Wind is out of the west. Feels pretty good out there right now, but we've got some rain off to the west from time to time. Pieces of this break off and come back through the interior, but right now, Marion County getting the lion's share of it. Sumter County on into Lake County, seeing a little bit of the moderate rain here. Citra, Reddick, Anthony, Ocala, a few showers there, and a couple of spotty showers just coming through Flagler County. Another shield of rain here right over the Florida Turnpike from Lake on into Sumter County, headed up towards Sorrento, Altoona, the villages in Leesburg, over towards Umatilla here a little bit later on. Kissimmee, your dry, Point Siena, you're dry. A couple showers off towards your west. We'll watch those, but overall, the heavier rain thus far this evening has been off towards the west, and we've had very little rain back east, and that's why the temperatures are still hovering right around the 70-degree mark. But even here, we'll drop into the mid-60s by daybreak. Lower 60s here north and west. We take a look at that day planner with a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of heating there through late morning on into the afternoon. That's going to help provoke a couple of late-day showers and thunderstorms. There's your break right there. Watch what happens now. Once we get that heating, here come the showers and the storms, and just in time, for that Wednesday evening commute right now, it is looking wet with some potentially strong 1 or 2 isolated severe storms. Couldn't be ruled out. And then the actual cold front coming through very early Thursday morning, right around 4:30 in Orlando, right around 6 o'clock back towards Titusville and Melbourne. We need rain. And what we are going to get from this storm system is some very beneficial rains, anywhere from about a ½ an inch of rain to close to 2 inches of rain by the time it is all said and done. Now, as that front's coming on in, we get a little bit of heating. There is an isolated marginal risk for a strong to severe thunderstorm from about, let's call it noon through about 8 o'clock in the evening. For me, the biggest concern, those strong gusty winds. There could be 1 or 2 severe storms, but the majority of the winds will be below that. Temps tomorrow up north, a little bit cooler in the low 70s, low 80s Orlando on south and east. So again, the changes coming in tomorrow night, and on into Thursday as the front comes on through. Blustery and colder weather just in time for Friday. Let's take a look at these Friday morning temps. 34 Ocala, 39 Sanford, right around 41 here in town. And that cool weather will be lasting all weekend long as that high pressure gradually begins to build back towards the east. Let's take a look now at the updated 7-day forecast. Cozy and cool. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Highs in the 60s. Lows in town in the 40s.
Not sure if you knew this, but Tim Tebow is back in spring training, and apparently he's up to good things.
Yeah, who would have known? Tim Tebow, baseball. We hadn't heard yet. But no, he does something today for the first time ever in his pro baseball career, all 4 years of it. I'll show you. Plus, it was a double overtime thriller that put Florida State in the driver's seat of the ACC, and the Noles weren't even playing. I'll explain next in sports.
Now, West 2 Sports, sponsored by Mullinax Ford.
Talking time at the NFL Combine. Hello, everybody. I'm Darren Stoltzfus. No one truly knows how far former Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will slip in the NFL draft. But while he's widely considered to be a first-round pick, the questions remain: who will take him and when will they take him? Tua's final game in a Crimson Tide uniform came here in Orlando in the Citrus Bowl. Well, he was on the sidelines at least. And a couple hundred miles down the road, the Dolphins, still one of those teams that could be a fit for the lefty quarterback, still linked to Tua. But who is fully expected to be cleared, and he's expecting to be cleared soon?
This rehab process has been it's been gradually getting, up as far as workouts with what we've been doing. So just strengthening all the parts around the hip, the glute, the hamstring, the quad. Just being able to be ready that once March 9th hits and we're cleared to go, then I'll be able to do everything.
Well, it appears for the third time in 4 years, the University of Miami won't play their spring football game in the same stadium they play their home games. According to the Miami Herald, the Canes can't use Hard Rock Stadium, so they'll play at Traz Powell Stadium instead. That's a home facility for 7 high school football teams in Miami. Total capacity is around 8,000. Florida State fans, basketball-wise, watching this one closely in Winston-Salem because Duke, a half game out of first place to enter the night, and the Noles atop the league standings. Wake trailed by 5 with 35 seconds to play, cut it to 3, get the turnover. Brandon Childress, that's a clutch jumper with 15 seconds to go, ties it at 79. They go to 2 overtimes, and the Demon Deacons get red hot in that second OT. Celebration time for Danny Manning's bunch. They get a big win. FSU now has a 1-game lead atop the ACC. They hold their own destiny, win out. They're the 1 seed in the tournament. 113-101, double overtime. The final tonight. To the G League, where UCF product Taco Fall continues to stuff the stat sheet. Today, the big man scored 18 points, had 16 rebounds, and did stuff like that. 5 blocked shots as well. Taco tallies his 15th double-double of the season for the Maine Red Claws. Big bounce back after playing just 2 minutes in their last game Sunday. And finally tonight, Tim Tebow, the experiment is set for season 4 for the Mets. And today, how about this for Tebow? Opposite field home run. It's noteworthy because it's the first extra base hit in big league camp for Tebow. Remember, 4 years of spring training with the Mets. That will do it for sports. The news continues on the other side of the break.
New tonight, Spaceship Earth, the iconic time machine-themed ride at Walt Disney World's Epcot, is closing May 26th. We told you about Disney's big plans for renovations on the ride, which will take up to 2 years to complete. And now we're getting our first look at the updates. This is a look at Egypt, transformed through the power of light. This will be the attraction's 4th update since the park's grand opening on October 1st, 1982. The ride is expected to reopen before Epcot's 40th anniversary in 2022.
That looks pretty impressive.
I'm waiting for Cleopatra to come out of there.
Right?
I tell you what, that was pretty cool. Let's take a look now at that forecast for tomorrow morning. Few showers and warm.
The West 2 Sunrise crew is absolutely out of this world and in no need of an update. Despite rolling out every morning at 4:30 a.m., they are fresh and fluffy and smiling to beat the band. And you can get West 2 News whenever you want at WESH.com or the West 2 News mobile app.
Thanks for watching. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow night. Have a good one.